Hello everyone and welcome back. Today our journey isn't just about showcasing a new invention or some tech gadget. We are diving deep into a modern day symbol of power. Have you ever heard the saying, there are more countries that can build a nuclear bomb than countries that can build a high-speed jet engine? That statement isn't an exaggeration. The technology required to build a massive commercial aircraft engines is the crown jewel of engineering, combining every discipline imaginable. And only a handful of nations hold the keys to this secret. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the new heart of the Russian bear, a project they are betting everything on to challenge the throne. This mega project is codenamed PD-35. Many of you might wonder, Mix is just one airplane's engine. Why is it important enough to dedicate a whole deep dive to today? The answer is that the story of the PD-35 isn't just about nuts, bolts, or spinning blades. It's a silent war. It's the story of a superpower struggling to stand on its own 2 feet when the rest of the world has turned it back. It's about the audacity to build something they are never built before, just to prove their dignity. It reflects a mindset of overcoming limits that is incredibly fascinating. And I believe this story will give you more than just aviation knowledge. It's a lesson in survival when crises come crashing down. Imagine this with me. In today's commercial skies, whenever we fly on a wide-body aircraft across continents, whether to London, New York or Paris, the massive engines hanging under those wings are almost exclusively made by just 2 or 3 superpowers. It's a perfect oligopoly. If it's not General Electric from the US, it's Rolls-Royce from the UK or Pratt& Whitney, also from the US. They have dominated this market for decades, building walls of standards and technology so high that almost no one else can climb over them. But then one day, Russia, which was once a giant in the Soviet era but had long been silent in the large engine market, shouted out, I won't pay you anymore. I will build my own giant engine. And that's what the birth of the PD-35. Why do I call it the giant killer? Folks, normally the jet engines we see on smaller planes have a certain level of thrust, but this PD-35 is designed with a massive starting thrust of 35 tons, and engineers have built the infrastructure specs to tune that power up to touch the 50 tons level in the future. Why does this number matter? It matters because it's built to go head-to-head with big brothers like the General Electric next generation used on the Boeing 787 Dreamliner or even challenge the GE's 9X on the Boeing 777X, which currently holds the title of the world's most powerful engine. Russia daring to take on this project isn't just about making a product to sell, it's like shouting to the world, we are back. Russia is declaring that they will no longer be just a follower or just a customer buying Western technology. This is the clearest declaration of technological sovereignty. And if they succeed, it will flip the game of air transport in the Eastern world forever. The balance of power in the skies will shift, not just in trade, but in national security, meaning no one can threaten them again. But the path of Challenger is never paved with roses. And this is the part I love the most because it's real and it's painful. Picture this, Russia is heavily sanctioned due to global conflicts and politics. Technologies that were once easy to buy were suddenly cut off overnight. Digital control screens, high-precision sensors, or even the computational fluid dynamics (CFD) software used in the West. They had to start from scratch on almost everything to rely on themselves 100%. The toughest challenge of this project wasn't just its massive size, but material side. To build giant fan blades with a diameter of over 10 feet that spin at high speeds without tearing apart, and yet are light enough not to weight the plane down so much it cannot take off, Russia hit a dead end. In the Soviet past, Russia was the king of titanium. They made everything from this metal because it's strong. But the downside is it's heavy. For modern aviation standards that focus on fuel economy and reducing emissions, using solid titanium blades like in the old days is an economic disaster. No airline wants a plane that carries so much engine waste it burns fuel like crazy. This problem forced Russian engineers to step beyond their own limits by jumping into polymer composite fan blade technology. Folks, this is the most guarded high-tech secret. Companies like GE spend decades developing carbon fiber blades that can withstand massive centrifugal forces, heat, and most importantly, a burst strike. Think about it, an engine spinning that fast. If a bird flies into it and the blade shatters, the engines explode instantly. It's a matter of life and death. But Russia had no choice. They had to grit their teeth, research, trial and error, develop carbon fiber weaving techniques and mold with special resins, building it all with their own hands 100%. The journey through the valley of failure, testing and exploding, testing and breaking, time and time again, to reach the point where it actually works. This is the spirit I want everyone to see in this clip. It's saying, if the road ahead is blocked, we must build a new road ourselves. And the latest insider news say they have successfully completed the prototype blades. Having told you all this, I believe my tech and engineering friends probably want to see the gut of this beast. How aggressive are the specs? And importantly, how expensive is it? I've made a summary table of the latest data with procurement prices estimated in US dollar for you to see clearly right here. Note, prices are estimated based on global market rates for engines in the same class. In the table, I want you to focus on the first point, fan diameter, 122 inches or 3.1 meters. Look around your room right now. The ceiling height in a standard apartment is usually about 8 to 9 feet. That means if we took the PD-35 engines and put it in your bedroom, it wouldn't fit. The top would smash right through to the room above. This is the massive scale required to power giant aircraft across the globe. And if compared to Russia's previous engine, the PS-90, the PD-35 is almost double the size. It's a beast that eats air for breakfast. And the second point I have to underline heavily is the estimated unit price, 30 million US dollar. Yes, almost a billion baht if convert. But let's stick to dollars. Just one engine costs more than a fleet of supercars. Think about it. One plane needs two engines, so that's 60 million right there. This is the value of high-end technology that very few people in this world can create. And if we look back at the research budget Russia put in 1.85 billion US dollar. This is a massive amount of money, but it was spent in exchange of technological sovereignty. It's the price they have to pay to buy the confidence that even if the outside world slams the door shut, even if not a single spare part is sent from the West, their planes will still take to the skies with their own wings and heart. This is buying survival in the long run. So what comes next? If the PD-35 succeeds, what will we see? The answer is a new aviation order. You might have heard of the CR929 project, right? The wide-body passenger jet that China and Russia are partnering to build to compete with the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350, which is the biggest and most lucrative market. The key heart that will make this project live or die is this PD-35. Think about it. If China has the airframe, Russia has the engine, and both countries have their own financial systems, they won't need to beg for Western engines anymore. We might see airlines in the East or BRICS nations turning to use aircraft from this new power pool more often, creating a new aviation ecosystem that doesn't rely on the dollar or NATO technology. Additionally, Russia had a big scar. After the political conflicts, they broke ties with Ukraine, which owned the regionally giant aircraft technology of Antonov. This made it impossible for Russia to use or maintain the giant An-124 transport planes as easily as before. This forces Russia had to build a new giant transport aircraft of their own to replace it, under the project's name Slon or the Elephant. This new giant will be 100% Russian, relying on no fund. And it needs a powerful heart like the PD-35 and only the PD-35 to lift it into the sky. This is a vision that looks further than just a year or two. It is laying the foundation for the next 20 to 30 years to ensure that dissidents still have a place to stand and a voice on the world stage. Finally, what does the story of the PD-35 teach us? Beyond the awe of technology, for me, it teaches that self-reliance is true power. Building something great doesn't start with being ready for everything. It starts with the courage to face limitations and fight tooth and nail until you can build your own engine successfully. It's like all of our life. On days we face a crisis, on days no one reaches out a hand to help. We might feel discouraged. We might feel the road is blocked. But if we have the determination of the PD-35 engineering team, not giving up to fate, developing skills, building our own strengths, one day we will have a powerful drive to fly through the storm as far as everyone else. If you like deep dive contents that blend technology, global politics, and inspiration like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support me. And let's see what story I will pick to tell you tomorrow. For today, I'm off to tune my life engine. See you in the next video.